You're listening to KAGJ FM Ephraim. The Cage.
The Cage. The Cage.
88.9.
Hey, you guys listen to 88.9 The Cage. You're on air with Sean Tasker. This is Fandom Life starting right now. It is 8 o'clock. Today we are talking about Star Wars. I have two guests.
Johnny.
Delwyn.
And we are going to be talking about Star Wars for the next 2 hours, guys. So if you guys love Star Wars, listen in right here on 88.9 The Cage. If you know someone else that likes Star Wars, go get them. We're going to be talking about the episodes 1 through 6, the extended universes, the video games, the books, the Disney stuff that's going to come out, everything. We're going to talk about everything Star Wars for the next 2 hours. So if you guys know someone else that likes Star Wars, go get them now and tell them to come listen right here on 88.9 The Cage. While you go get them, we're going to play a quick song. Enter Sandman by Metallica. It is a guest choice. So you guys go ahead, and we'll be right back here after this song. Enjoy.
Due to copyright purposes, this song cannot be played.
That was Enter Sandman by Metallica. You guys listen to 88.9 The Cage. You are on air with Sean Tasker. This is Fandom Life. Once again, my two guests are
Johnny.
Delwyn.
and we are talking about Star Wars for the next 2 hours, guys. I love Star Wars. Everyone loves Star Wars. That's like one of the biggest classics. I think that was like an instant classic for America, really, in all honesty.
Yeah, I think there's an episode on TV somewhere about like the Japanese trying to take it just because it's like a
Really?
classic.
No way.
Yeah, I think it was on South Park.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's glorious. But a tradition that I start off every show with is I have a hat full of fandoms. Earlier the year, if you guys remember, they did this activity here at Snow where they gave you a free slice of pizza and a free hat that you could like spray paint on or whatever to have like the Snow logo or whatever. And I was like, well, that's lame. I already have tons of Snow stuff. I have Snow sweatpants and t-shirts and like bags and sunglasses. So I need I'm going to design this with fandom stuff. It's a bunch of fandom logos, so I'm going to test you guys. How many of these logos do you know? Read them out loud, the ones that you recognize.
Pokemon, there's Hunger Games, Star Wars, Disney. That's it for me. Oh, Star Trek right there. I don't see any of those.
Those are all the only ones you know?
I recognize the Avengers, Pokemon, Disney, Rebel Alliance sticker,
Oh, it's Lord of the Rings right there. Okay, I see it.
Star Trek, and yeah, I don't recognize the Lord of the Rings one. Oh wait, there's the Who, Doctor Who, little the booth. I don't watch it, but I know that booth.
The booth. All right, so yeah, so we got Pokemon, Hunger Games. That's
Oh, it's
Supernatural.
called the TARDIS. That's
Yeah.
I was trying to remember.
That's Supernatural. It's one of the Angel's Wings, and he's one of the main characters. That is Lord of the Rings. That's Doctor Who. That's Avengers, Disney, Star Wars. That's Percy Jackson, the Trident.
Oh.
That's Sherlock. It's 221B, where he lives. That's the TV show Firefly that Joss Whedon made.
Oh.
Harry Potter, the Deathly Hallows. It's kind of hard to draw on a hat, so I understand if it's hard to notice. Yeah, Star Trek. That is Tumblr, which is where I get all my fandom information from. From Tumblr.
If I don't know that.
That is the Zombie Research Society. I think that was the first thing I like one of the first things I ever really nerded out about, and I'm a card-carrying member of the Zombie Research Society. And then right there, dead center, Sean Tasker. That's me. I am a fandom. You can deny it all you want, but I still believe it's true. Yeah, but today specifically we're talking about Star Wars. So how did you guys get into Star Wars? Johnny,
Well, I remember watching it when I was a little kid. Like, the first one I saw was Phantom Menace in the theaters, and I remember that day when I went and saw that back in '99.
Yeah?
And that's when I fell in love with it.
Very nice, very nice.
I fell in love with it at Phantom Menace. I knew about it before because my dad's a huge Star Wars person, so I kind of was set up to do that. When I was 8, I'd start playing with the lightsabers, and then I was just set. I was ready to be a child forever.
Very nice. I feel bad because I at first I didn't like Star Wars. Like as a little kid, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a football player and I'm gonna, have the nice, car and the hot girlfriend and all that stuff. And I was like, Star Wars is lame. Nerds are dumb. I had this one friend. He was obsessed with Star Wars. Like he knew how in 4th grade he knew how the lightsabers were made. He knew
so cool.
who was whose master. This huge chain of everyone's masters and Padawans and everything. And I was like, that's so stupid. Why do you spend your time, learning about that and playing with the action figures? I didn't get it.
I love the action figures.
Yeah. But then I, right around 7th grade, I told my neighbor that I had never seen a single Star Wars movie. He was like, what? you haven't seen any of the Star Wars? I have all 6. Here you go. And we went on vacation to some, place that like I didn't really like, and so I pretty much watched all 6 Star Wars movies in one weekend.
And how'd you like them?
Oh, I instantly loved it. Instantly. I was like, nerds had it right this whole time. And ever since then, I've been on the track to nerdiness, and now I'm, hosting a fandom, radio show.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's how I got into Star Wars personally. And I love it. I love like learning, the theories and like, all the things that they took from like religions and, myths and stuff and all that stuff. And George Lucas threw it all into this huge saga. And I just fell in love with it totally. And then, yeah, the past week I've been preparing for it. So I watched one movie every day. So Monday I watched Phantom Menace and so on until today. And then I played some Lego Star Wars. I played a little Battlefront. I watched this documentary on Netflix called Jedi Junkies, where it talks about, in New York, there's this, group of people that, like teach how to like choreograph lightsaber fights, with like one lightsaber or two, or like the double-sided, and all these cool things, and the collections and the cosplays. And it's a really cool documentary.
Cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Is it worth watching?
Yeah, it's got a lot of good information. Like not very high on the entertainment value, honestly, but it's a documentary. So
Yeah.
yeah. And then I rewatched the Cartoon Network Clone Wars movie. I was gonna. No. That's the one that you're holding is from 2005. That's the one that they released, and then it did absolutely terrible. Like no one enjoyed it.
See, I love that. I saw that on TV when I was a kid. Like it came on the weekends, and I would sit there and watch that.
Really?
And I thought it was the bomb. Like I don't know why people didn't like this.
Yeah, no, it just overall didn't do well. And then 5 years later, they decided to try again, and that's when they had more of like the 3D CGI looking to it, and then that one worked so much better.
Oh, so you're talking about that movie for
Yeah,
the start of the series?
Yeah, we're
I actually haven't seen that movie.
haven't?
I've seen the Star Wars series, but not the movie.
yeah, that's how it started off. Was because the Separatists kidnap Jabba the Hutt's son, who's like this little infant, and then Anakin also takes on a Padawan, Ahsoka Tano.
Oh, that makes so much more sense in the
Yeah.
series. I should probably watch that.
Yeah, you should probably watch the movie that explains the TV show. that's probably a good plan there, Delwyn. Yeah. So we're gonna start with Star Wars Episode 1 of Phantom Menace. Like I could start with Episode 4 because that's the one that came out first, but we're gonna go in chronological order of the universe.
Okay.
So Star Wars Episode 1, what do you guys think of it?
I think lots of people, it's like their least favorite episode, but for me, it is my favorite. And
Okay.
it started the magic for me, and I don't understand what everyone's problem with it. Like, it's a little cheesy, but
Right.
I don't know. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Dylan, what do you think of the first Phantom Menace?
I like it better than 2 of the Star Wars movies. I don't hate it though. That's one thing that I get a lot too, is that people hate it. But I loved it for the fact that it had Darth Maul. Like
Yeah.
Darth Maul was the guy of my childhood. Like
Really?
there was no one cooler than Darth Maul.
That's funny.
Just because he had the horns and the bad look and the double-edged lightsaber. I was like, yeah. And so I think that one's awesome, even if it does have Jar Jar.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I hate it, but it is my least favorite for a couple reasons. So, I'm not trying to like offend you.
No, you're good.
But
Everyone has opinions.
but mainly because if you think about it, who's the main character of Phantom Menace?
Does there need to be a main character, though?
Well, for a storyline to, like for a good storyline, you think that there needs to be, a character that the story revolves around. Like for all 6, that'd be Anakin, and the whole Skywalker family really. But Qui-Gon has, he's the majority of the first 2/3 of it, but then he dies. Anakin's the majority of the second 2/3 of it, but you don't find him until almost halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan, he skips out on a lot of stuff. Like when they go find Anakin, Obi-Wan's not even there. And so like there's a lot of characters that are there for most of it, but there's no one that's there for the
Throughout the whole
entire
thing.
story for the story to really revolve around. And so it's kind of, it seems a little just too much. Hey, all this random stuff, we're just going to throw it into a big pot, But one thing I did like about Darth Maul was I read up on this. His skin is actually just red, and the black are actually Sith tattoos he got. And I thought that was so sick when I found that out.
Yeah.
But
That's
then,
really cool stuff.
yeah. But then they put his species in the Clone Wars TV show on Cartoon Network, and they made them all have like the black linings too. And so I don't know if they just ditched that, like.
Maybe it's because they're on Dathomir. Because isn't the one guy the Zabrak, the Darth Maul is Zabrak?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah.
And since they're on Dathomir, maybe that's why they all have the tattoos. Maybe they're Dathomirian tattoos.
Okay, that might make sense. Yeah. Well, the thing I think I dislike the most about Darth Maul is that he could have been done so easy when Obi-Wan is hanging, like by the trench. He's, he doesn't know what to do really for like a good 60 seconds. And instead of, just killing him off, Darth Maul walks walks like a cage lion looking down on him. And then he takes his lightsaber and just like makes pretty sparks. Like, look at my sparks. He could have just like reached down with his lightsaber, cut off the fingers, and
Well, about Darth Maul, there's not really any character development about him in Episode 1, but he is like a really haughty person who's really prideful, and that's why he's doing that, because that leads to why he gets killed, is because of his pride.
Yeah.
And even Palpatine, when he found him, knew that his pride was going to be his downfall.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about Darth Maul's history.
I don't know much. I just know the beginning. I haven't read any comics or anything about it, like his later life, because I know he comes back or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know all that.
And like, I think late through like the Clone Wars series, I think he comes back.
Oh, okay. Which would be weird since he got cut in half and then thrown into a bottomless pit.
Like,
but,
I know he's still alive after that.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
He is.
Okay.
He's like half robot from the waist down.
Very nice. Yeah, they like to do that. They like to make everyone a cyborg.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like about that was the way Darth Maul died is he had so much reaction time for when Obi-Wan was jumping. He had his lightsaber and everything. Like, the fact that Obi-Wan was able to just jump over, and then he lands, and he sits there for a second, and then chops him in half.
Right, yeah.
And I'm like, what the crap?
Yeah, he could have just, like, with a double-sided lightsaber, he could just, like, picked it up and just stabbed him in the stomach as he's jumping over him.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. It was... That was the part that peeved me off about one. That was, like... that and Jar Jar was the only problem with it, but...
Yeah. Mr. Jar Jar Binks. I mean, as a kid, I loved him because, he's there for the kids, So I loved him as a little kid. And I, learned, like, the little thing he does where he's laying on his back and he just jumps up onto his feet. And so I can do that because Jar Jar Binks could do it. And I was like, that's so cool.
That's pretty cool.
That's so much fun to do. Yeah, but some of the notes I had when I was watching it. So you know who Qui-Gon Jinn's master is, right?
I think it's Count Dooku.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
what I
Count-
thought it was.
Yeah, it is Count Dooku. And so I was wondering if Qui-Gon had lived, do you think he would have followed Count Dooku down the path to the dark side? Because he agreed with a lot of these same ideal, like things that Count Dooku thought of. Because there's two different types of the Force. There's the living Force and there's the extended Force or something like that. And Obi-Wan is focused on the living Force, but
So it's Qui-Gon.
yeah.
Qui-Gon's living force.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I just know that Count Dooku and Qui-Gon were focused on the same type, and then that's what brought Count Dooku into the dark side. So do you think Qui-Gon might have followed his master?
I don't think so. One of the reasons why Count Dooku turned to the dark side is before Episode 1, like 5-10 years, Palpatine actually meets with them at like a peace meeting, and he plants like these thoughts, these doubts into Count Dooku's head, and he tries to do that to other people like Sifo Dyas and Qui-Gon. But I think Count Dooku is the only one that really turned to the dark side. I don't think Qui-Gon would have, because he's he's like follows the light side. He's not like corruptible, I don't think.
Right. Yeah. The Count Dooku is one of the Lost 20, I think is what it's called. There were 20 Jedi who they started as Jedi and then they went to the dark side. Yeah, but Dylan, what do you think Qui-Gon would have gone dark?
I don't think so. I think he was more of a gray Jedi than anything. I don't think he was like super for the Council, but I don't think he would have ever turned on the Order. I mean, he just disobeyed a few things here and there because that's how he was. But
Yeah.
He was more of a gray dude.
Okay. Yeah, so if he had stayed alive and he had stayed on the light side, do you think, so then he wouldn't have been able to train Anakin really? He would just supervised him? So how do you think Anakin's, story would have changed? Because he wouldn't have become a Jedi, not really, which means he would have never gone dark, but...
I don't know what to think about that one.
Yeah.
Well, he did plan on training Anakin. I mean, he was going to put Obi-Wan through the Jedi trials so he could take Anakin as another Padawan. But I don't know what the big difference would have been with Qui-Gon and him, because from the very start you see Anakin starting to fall for Padme, and in the very end it's Palpatine taking advantage of his love, not really anything else. His teachings didn't fail, it was just this deep love for a girl that he twisted into something that turned him to the dark. I think he would have gone dark side either way.
Okay. Yeah, see, I thought that Yoda said that Anakin could not be trained, period.
If that would have been the case, then Obi-Wan wouldn't have been able to do it either. Like,
That's true.
Obi-Wan said, I'm going to do it, and then Yoda was like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
The council agrees with you, and then I think the same would have happened with Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon would have been very insistent because he saw that this kid was born without a dad, so...
Right.
Either way, I think he would have been trained, but either way, I also feel he would have fallen.
Okay. So even if Qui-Gon had survived, then Anakin was turned into Darth Vader?
Yeah, I think that it's the love for Padme, and he loved Padme no matter what. Like, before Qui-Gon died, he was starting to hit on her on the ship as a little 10-year-old because he was a
Are you
player.
an angel?
Yeah. He was already starting to hit on her, and then in the second movie, it's totally there. He's just
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to get this girl because I'm a Jedi and I'm a baddie.
Yeah. But, and then my third thing about Phantom Menace was... After Anakin wins the pod race, he goes home and he shows his mom his winnings. I think that it was possible that amount of winnings could have bought his mom. Like he doesn't even show him attempting or bargaining with his what's the flying guy's name? I forgot his name. Watto, yeah. It doesn't show him bargaining with Watto, trying to buy his mom with his winnings that he just got. So that kind of bugged me a little bit.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I never thought of that either, but I figure if it was enough, they would have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, Qui-Gon tried to barter for his mom, but it didn't work.
Well, because the thing is, he was gonna trade the pod racer for both of them, and then he said no pod racer is good enough for 2 slaves, and so then he did the rolling of the dice. So then he was like, you get to take the kid.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was just I don't think Anakin would know how much his mom costs. So he wouldn't be able to just be like, oh, I didn't get enough for that. Because that's not something that I think you would just know.
As a little kid.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the Jedi would have helped him out if it was enough.
Yeah.
I mean, they were watching over him pretty hard.
Right.
So.
Maybe it was Anakin's cockiness. He did say he was going to become a Jedi and free all the slaves.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe he just thought he was going to free it and didn't even think of the here and now buying her.
Yeah, that's sure too.
It's the only thing I can really think of on that.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys have anything else you want to add, anything you want us to talk about Phantom Menace, you can text KAGE with whatever you want us to talk about to 66746. But until then, we're going to move on to episode 2, which is Attack of the Clones. So that's fast forward.
Ugh. That one's my least favorite. It's okay because it has lightsabers, but
That's the only reason you like it?
yeah,
Lightsaber.
it's Star Wars still, so I guess you have to like it.
Right. Yeah, this is fast forward 10 years now. Padme Amidala is no longer the queen. She has now been upgraded to senator, which me and my friends were talking how does that monarchy democracy thing fit?
They have they elect their king or queen.
Really?
And so it's like a voting thing among
Okay.
nobles and stuff.
Okay.
So at that point, I guess maybe her term was over or something,
Mhm.
and they just appointed her senator. I would think, because I know there's a different queen at that time.
Yeah. And she was the actress was actually Hispanic at that point. I noticed. I was
Really?
like, oh, whoa, not a white person. There's so many white people in Star Wars.
There's 2 black people.
There's
4 black people.
There's 4. So there's
Wait,
Mace
there's-
Windu, Lando Calrissian.
Oh, there's
Okay.
that one pilot in the first one that
There's
no
the
one knows his
pilot.
name of.
Yeah, and then there's a pilot in the 6th one at the same.
Oh, is
Oh,
there a
well, then
pilot
there's
in the
5,
sixth one?
because there's Captain Panaka in episode 1.
Right.
It's just security
yeah,
chief.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so there is
There's 5 black
so
guys.
there's
then.
5 black guys in the universe. There was one Asian pilot in the 6th episode that I watched today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just see him. He has a weird helmet on, and he's Asian. And then there's the Hispanic Latina who is the new queen of Naboo.
Mhm.
And then everyone else is white.
Well, I guess there's Jango Fett. He's what?
Oh yeah, he's blue. Yeah,
New Zealander or something?
yeah. So he's
Hitler almost won the war in their universe. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
I'm just kidding. I said Hitler almost won the war in their universe way long ago.
Oh yeah, because that is like yeah, that we'll touch on that later. How that it's a huge World War II metaphor. That like if you like, there's so many like different hints that like me and my friends are like, oh, well if that means that, then that means this, and then and it all fits. That's what me and my friends like to do. We like to connect random dots and then see that it makes a big not picture, and we're like, well, it kind of looks like something.
Kind of. Well, like Palpatine taking control of the Empire is like the Romans, like Republic when it turned into the Roman Empire.
Yeah, kind of like Julius Caesar. He took over and then he became the emperor, and then he sustained and took. Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't learn from history.
Well, I mean, that was a long time ago,
In
which
a
means that was
galaxy far away.
before. So Julius Caesar should have learned from Emperor Palpatine, really.
Oh yeah, dang.
That's how that works. Yeah, no. So besides it only having lightsabers, why do you not like, or what? Is there?
And
Yeah.
what else do I like about it?
Oh yeah. What else? How else do you feel about Attack of the Clones?
Oh,
So there's lightsabers, which is a good
the
thing.
cheesy love lines between Anakin and Padme make me want to just drive a katana right through my stomach. Just right there.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
A katana, not just like a blade, but a katana.
Yep, I gotta
specifically.
drive that through. Because, oh my gosh, whoever wrote the love lines between Han and Leia should have done Anakin's and Padme's. Because Han and Leia were great. It's like, I
Yeah.
love you and I know.
Okay,
and then
that was improv though. That wasn't his line.
Well, then, you see, he was awesome because he was like...
Yeah, no, the line was "I love you too," but Harrison Ford was like, "Han Solo would never say that."
See, Han...
Come on.
Okay, then Harrison Ford knew where it was at. They needed a better actor for
Yeah.
whatever the crap Anakin was to do those love lines. But those love lines were really bad.
There's a lot less action, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's more of like a setup for a giant war.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more drama, so I think maybe that's why people don't like it. It's because it's a lot
It's
more
a lot of
dramatic
politics.
rather than action oriented. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a lot of the love lines, and then I think that just the whole love story, like, it's supposed to be there, but they should have done it better. Like, that, just the whole love story makes me want to gag. The rest of it, I thought was okay. Like, the love story was so bad.
Yeah, that's
Just,
true.
they should have done it better, in my opinion.
Especially like because Padme keeps putting Anakin down. It's like, actually, I'm from here, so you should take my advice. I don't care that you're a Jedi. Whatever.
I like when he slays the sand people, though. That was cool.
The genocide when he commits
Yep.
genocide.
Oh, when he commits genocide, that was cool.
They're animals, and I slaughtered them like animals.
That part was so cool.
Oh my god, dude, that was so dark though.
I felt
man.
bad at that part.
I like
felt bad
dark
for all the
things.
little sand people.
Yeah, that's why you're in the middle.
Dude, you're sand people.
I'm fine with the sand people just because they kill, like, so many people. But it's when he kills the younglings that I'm just like,
Not just the men, but the women and the children.
Delwyn does a great sand people impression.
No way.
can I do it?
Yeah.
Let's see if
back away from the mic so we don't
Let's
break.
see if my sinuses can do this today. Whoa. That made my ears pop. Okay, let's see if I can try that again.
Dude, that is terrifying. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely horrifying. Like the sound alone, and then like your face like gets red and like convulses when you do that. Oh my god. That was impressive though. You gotta say that was impressive.
Sorry, y'all, that's hilarious to me.
Okay. Yes,
Do the rest of it in sand people.
the rest of this interview for the next hour and a half, you're just gonna make that noise. Now that you say that, I totally understand. Man, also Johnny, what do you think of Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones. I like it. I like it. It's not
Just-
my favorite, but actually I'd say it's probably it's probably second to the bottom of the list.
Okay.
But I like the setup for episode 3, and I like
Right.
the drama and politics. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Yes, if you're into politics, then I think episode 2 is really cool. But yeah, for people who like don't care about that, they love the action and adventure of it. Then yeah, episode 2 could be really boring.
Yeah.
Until that very last scene when they're on Geonosis,
And then it just
and
explodes.
yeah,
with
like almost
action.
all the tons of Jedi are dying, and then all the clones come in.
Yeah, it made up for it on the end, so the political part didn't mind me. Like I said, it was just the loves.
But yeah, so some of the things I have for Attack of the Clones, how much Anakin undermines Obi-Wan. You know, like Obi-Wan is like, you need to do this. You know, like when they're chasing after that one bounty hunter chick that I think is a dude, whatever. And he's like, you know, you went completely the other direction. He was like, yes, master, I'm sorry. Please excuse me. And he jumps off and, you know, falls 200 feet. And, you know, Obi-Wan's just like, I hate it when he does that. He's just like, he's just being such a rat. Like he's going through like some rebellious teenager stage, I think.
Well, how old is he supposed to be?
Well, if he was 9 when they found him, and then it's 10 years later,
So he's 19 then?
He's 19,
Okay.
yeah.
Dang, he was older than me.
Yeah. So you're right about where Anakin was in episode 2.
I need to get myself a lightsaber and start jumping off flying cars.
And making really bad love lines to a pretty girl.
Oh, just go on the street and be like, here's a peach with the Force. I love you.
I'll put it on your fork for you so you can eat it.
I think it's romantic.
Oh, do you? Is that yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
If you had the Force, is that what you would do with your day? Just
Definitely not.
just feed women?
I would like take
Hey,
advantage
baby.
of that in the kitchen, just lightning all my food to perfection. Just be like, "Zzz, yeah,
No,
it's
honestly,
perfect.
Like my thing though is like, if I had the Force, like I think about this when, especially in high school, when you know there's walking around those guys, you know, that have their pants below their butt cheeks, you know, and then you can see their underwear. I'm like, if I had the Force, all I would do is I would either pants them or give them a wedgie for every single one as I walk by. I'd probably like alternate it.
Dude, I would totally do that too. That's so cool.
Yeah, just because I'm like, you know, I'm not, you know, trying to sound like an old, wear a belt, but you know, if you sit down and everyone can see the entirety of your underwear, you know, like I wear
It's
my
not pretty.
Yeah, I wear my pants so like, you know, an inch or two shows, but like, you know, they wear it way below, and I'm like, we're getting into underwear. I'm gonna change the topic now. We got a little off topic there. My bad. But yeah, no. So that's what I would do with the Force. But yeah. What else? Anakin likes Palpatine because Obi-Wan doesn't, or is it because Palpatine is like always? Yeah. So do you think Anakin likes Palpatine because he's rebelling against Obi-Wan, or because Palpatine's like, so you are, you know, they need you so much more than they know, and you're so important, and blah 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 blah.
Well, it's probably both, but I think more it's Palpatine being super charismatic and super manipulative. Because
Yeah.
the whole time everything is going on, he knows what he's gonna do in his mind. Like
Yeah.
you know, he's setting a huge plan, and so I think it's probably mostly Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just Palpatine, very charismatic, manipulative dude. Just
Yeah.
playing with the guy's ego and pride.
There was this one line in episode 2, and it made me almost die.
Die of what?
Of sadness. And
Sadness.
Just, yeah, I was just like, oh, because Obi-Wan says, why do I get the feeling you're going to be the death of me? And Anakin's like, no, don't say that, Master. But I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, I remember feeling that when I first watched that. I was like, it happens.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts inside. Because he totally is. Oh, man.
Oh, it makes my heart hurt. The third one is like the most torturous for me to watch.
Oh, definitely.
I will
cried.
yell at the TV every time. I'll just be like, no,
You were
don't.
the chosen one. Don't go there.
Annie, you're breaking my heart.
So episode 2 is the first time they decided to make Yoda out of CGI instead of a Muppet.
It was a horrible decision in episode 1. I don't know why they didn't make him computerized.
Maybe just they couldn't get the CGI right. That's what I always thought.
Like the puppet looks horrible in
Really?
Phantom Menace. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are the opposite. They're like, they should have stuck with the Muppet because that's how Yoda is. But you think that they should have gone with animated from as soon as they have the technology?
I think they should have. It would have. I think it just would have looked a lot better.
Okay.
It always throws me off watching the first one and seeing him as a puppet. Like,
Yeah.
It's a really
'Cause it's in
modern
the
movie,
prequels.
and
Yeah.
then they throw in like what 1980s like puppetry. And,
Yeah.
and
they
I
could have
just
done a
think it
better
doesn't look good.
puppet.
Yeah, that's true. Like, they didn't use the same puppet like they did in the original trilogy.
Yeah, it was totally. You could tell it looked different.
Yeah, it was a totally different puppet thing. I think that Yoda totally ships. And if you guys don't know what ships is, it's whenever you think two people or characters should be in a relationship.
Oh, so that's
You
what that
ship it?
means. I've
Yeah.
been wondering that for like 5 years now.
Really? Yeah. So that's what shipping is. And I think that Yoda totally ships Padme and Anakin because he says that Anakin should take care of Padme. And like I think with his premonition and everything, I think he totally sees it. And like I know it's bad. Jedi shouldn't feel love or whatever. And it kind of leads to Anakin's downfall and everything. But he knows that he feels for Padme, and then he sends him to Naboo with. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that's a bad decision. I mean, they're not allowed to do that.
Right.
I don't think. Well, I don't know how I feel about that because he tells Anakin to mind his visions and everything later on. So I don't get why he'd send him with Padme. I don't really believe that theory. That theory just seems a little off to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
It
know.
was just like, because I saw that, I was like, why is he? Because he totally can tell. Yoda totally knows, because he's Yoda.
That's what I felt like Obi-Wan should know.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's so obvious for Obi-Wan to see.
Right.
But, like, Obi-Wan never mentioned
But then
it.
both Yoda and Obi-Wan approve Anakin to protect Padme on her home planet all by themselves, where it's, lakes and hills and sunshine and, if there's one place to have cheesy love lines that make you want to gut yourself, that's the place to go.
I don't think they would have known that was going to happen. I mean, if they knew that was going to happen, why didn't they know Palpatine is Dark Lord of the Sith?
Yeah, that's something that
It's
we're definitely
because-
going to get to.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get
Because
to
yeah,
that.
that's in the third episode. Like we find out that all that. So the whole Sifo-Dyas and the clones. So Sifo-Dyas is the one that hires or like that pays for all the clones to be made, right?
Yes.
But they're made for the Sith. So was it Count Dooku killed Sifo-Dyas and pretended to be him and hired the clones?
I think how it works is Palpatine convinced Sifo-Dyas that the Republic needs an army because war is coming, and then I think after he put the order in, that's when Count Dooku killed him.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know too much about the Sifo-Dyas thing, so
Yeah.
I'm going to trust him on this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jango Fett was hired by another person.
Count Dooku.
Well, he was hired by Count Dooku.
Wait,
Okay.
to
He
be the clone.
Yeah, to be the-
Yeah, he was hired
okay.
by Count Dooku.
because he uses a different name. He didn't say I was hired by Count Dooku. I forgot the name, but
Oh, I think does he say Darth Tyrannus?
yes,
That's Count Dooku.
okay. The same name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Darth Tyrannus is just a Sith name.
Yeah.
Oh, well then that all fits. That all makes sense now. Thank you. I get it now. Okay. Man. Then also, so Count Dooku, Saruman, are both played by what's the name?
Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
So cool.
Sir Christopher Lee.
Sir Christopher Lee. Yeah, and then he also played the dentist in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So
And the
he,
old one?
No, in the
No,
new
the
one.
new
He plays the dragon too, doesn't he? He's like the voice of whatever monster it's called, like the whatchamacallit or
In
something.
what?
In what?
Oh, I'm thinking of Alice in Wonderland. Sorry.
Totally different thing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
No, so and then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, he plays the dentist, and then he's Saruman and Count Dooku. So he is the three most evil things in all of history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's like
definitely.
Dracula too, in like the 50s or
Does he?
something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were
He's
talking,
played so many roles.
and we were talking about how he makes his own like metal music, and he's in the music videos, and he's like on this throne with a crown and a huge like staff and everything.
It's so cool.
looks so lit. And like he makes it like in his house, like with no budget and just.
I had no clue he did it in his house. That's
yeah.
cool.
Like I know he doesn't do it like in a professional studio. Or he's not part of a record company or anything. He just kind of does it just for fun,
That's
just
so cool.
just for kicks and giggles. It's yeah. So if there's anything else you guys want us to talk about episode 2, text KAGE with whatever you want us to talk about to 66746. Until then, we're gonna move on to episode 3.
the most heartbreaking.
Revenge of the
wrenching thing
Sith.
in
Oh,
there.
I cry every time. I cry. Especially that final speech. You are my brother, Anakin. We're meant to bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
I don't get worked up over that. I get worked up over like every Jedi getting annihilated.
Oh, yeah?
That's when I freak out because I hate like the scenes where it just shows like all
Order
the Jedi
66.
Masters get blown up by
Yeah, yeah.
their clones.
That
Yeah.
heart wrenches me, and then when Anakin goes to the temple and just slaughters
The younglings.
everything.
Oh, my gosh.
Like
This-
the little kids are like, "What should we do? They
Yeah.
have us outnumbered." And then he gets his lightsaber out, and you're like, "Oh god!"
Like, no, why the kids? That was so
every
terrible.
time, I'm just like, "Don't go to where Mace Windu is. Just do what you're told for once." And then he goes there. And
It was so bad. Yeah. So what was your, just overall, what was your favorite, or how did you feel about episode 3?
it was like my third favorite. Or well, if you count the ones that I have tied for first, it was my second favorite.
Okay.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I think they did Grievous injustice. That was my biggest thing about it. I hated that so much.
Yeah.
Like when I saw the trailers, I was like, 4-armed robot dude with 4 lightsabers. and
That's so
yes,
sick. And
he'll
then
kill everything.
and then a single blaster he catches on fire and dies.
it's just like the whole lightsaber fight was the most disappointing part. He's like spinning them, and if he thought about it, I don't know. It just didn't click right how he was able to cut Grievous's hands off. So
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Like, Grievous is not trained in the Force. He knows how to swing a lightsaber, but Obi-Wan has the advantage of being able to use the Force and jump in whatever opportunity he can.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's fine that he kills him.
but it just
With 4 lightsabers going faster than humans could possibly move.
he's faster than machine, and then also that Force push. He has magnetic feet, and he should have been prepared for the Force and had his magnetic feet on.
Oh, okay. So I was wondering like how, because like I remember when he's get thrown out into space and he like sucks back in and then climbs on top of the spaceship at the beginning when they capture Chancellor Palpatine or something. Yeah, Chancellor Palpatine at that point.
Yeah.
And the third one he's Chancellor. Yeah. Yeah, and so I was always wondering like how his feet like just grabbed on and just walked, but they're magnetic.
Yeah, he's got magnetic feet, and that's why people are like, well, Obi-Wan had the Force and could throw him around. I was like, well, he had magnetic feet. He should have been able to do better.
Yeah, sure.
That's why I like the cartoon series. It does him a lot more justice than
Yeah,
that
definitely.
movie.
Yeah, and in the cartoon series, it explains how he was a war hero on his planet, and then he got burned like severely over the majority of his body. He would have died, except for they made him into a cyborg. So he was pretty much Darth Vader before Darth Vader. He's hipster Darth Vader.
Yeah. Except he can't use the Force, and he has 4 lightsabers.
I think that's why they put the coughing in, because it's like foreshadowing for Darth Vader. I always think it's cool when he coughs.
Respiratory issues, yeah, because they both like Darth Vader's like asthmatic with a. Which sounds like he's on an inhaler the whole time. No offense to people who are on inhalers. I'm just stating it. No, it's just a
It
statement.
just means you're like Darth Vader. Don't get butt. Okay, I'm ready to run more, gym teacher. Okay.
Can I just use the Force? No. Yeah, so then he has a coughing. So they both have respiratory issues, both burn and turn into cyborgs. Just one has the Force, and the other one has 4 lightsabers.
I think it's cool how he takes all the lightsabers from the victims. Like Grievous
Yeah.
is one of my favorite villains
Yeah,
ever.
it's really cool. Like, as souvenirs, and like if you go into the Clone Wars TV show, like he has like this whole room just full of lightsabers.
And braids.
Like
and,
war trophies and stuff.
it's
Oh,
so
like
cool.
the Padawan braids?
Yeah, he had the Padawan braids from the ones he had
that's
killed.
dark.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that.
You didn't know? They're all lined up on a table, and like one of the Jedi sees it because they're in the lair, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, these must be from the Jedi he killed." And then he's like, "He will pay for this," and then he ends up being the victim too, and gets killed and slaughtered.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's crazy. General Grievous is good at what he does, unfortunately.
That's why I was like, he should have done better against Obi-Wan. He should have lost, but I figured
Yeah.
he should have put up such a better fight.
Yeah, like when he just did a single shot to the heart and then it just burst into flames. Like, does he have like oil in his heart or something?
I'm not sure. I get the heart thing a little bit more. It was the rest of it, the whole lightsaber fighting technique.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a lot better with the lightsabers, especially within the show. The show shows him being like way fantastic with those lightsabers
Yeah.
and killing Jedis all the time.
Yeah, of course. The third movie's after the show. The show's put right between episode 2 and episode 3, and so like I don't know, he might have had like maybe I haven't seen the whole show, so maybe at the end like he suffers something where he gets weaker or something. I don't know. Have you seen it all? The whole thing? Oh, okay.
You've seen all of them?
Yeah.
The TV show?
Yeah.
The Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Cartoon?
Yeah.
Why do you seem so surprised about this?
Oh, because we were watching them, and I thought you hadn't seen them before.
I've forgotten a lot of them. That's why I wanted to rewatch them with
okay.
you.
Well, anyway.
Okay. Yeah.
Just saying, I haven't finished the series. I've just seen the first season.
That's why I said I was cool with skipping the first season, but you were like, "No, we'll do this," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
But yeah, no, so one thing that in episode 3 they talk about Darth Plagueis the Wise
Yeah.
and how he could create life out of midichlorians.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but his apprentice killed him, learned everything he knew, and then killed him. And so that ended up being Darth Sidious.
Yes.
So what I didn't realize was that means that Anakin, who was of a virgin birth, I totally thought that was a Jesus analogy, but that just means that he created Anakin straight from the midichlorians.
He didn't create Anakin directly. He was going to do something, I don't remember the details, but he was going to do something with the Force to make like something with the dark side more powerful. And then, because the Force reacts to that and it balances it, so to balance what evil act he was going to do, it birthed or conceived Anakin Skywalker.
Okay.
So he didn't do it directly, but he caused it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't realize that until this week when I rewatched him. I was like, well, then that means that he's the reason that Anakin was born. And so, like, this whole plan of taking over the universe started pre-birth. Like, that's, like, a long plan. Like, at first I just thought, like, once he found this kid, who was high in midichlorians, I thought that's when he started planning. but he did it way before that. And like that super intense plan, you know, and then like convincing Sifo-Dyas and then killing him and then having all the clones turn on the Jedi, and like that's such an intense plan. I don't know how long it would have taken, you know. I can just imagine Darth Sidious just sitting at a desk with like pieces of paper strewn all over, like, oh, where's the missing piece? There's something else that I need to do. Yeah, that's insane. All of that.
Darth Plagueis is pretty cool. He's still alive. Like, it never shows him in the movies. But, like, as far as Star Wars lore and whatever expanded universe goes, he's alive up until the moment Palpatine gets Chancellor. He kills him the night before.
Really?
He's Chancellor. So, in Episode 1 for the first half, Plagueis is still his master, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's cool.
Is he the one that's giving the Trade Federation their orders? Or is that...
That's Palpatine.
That's Palpatine? Okay, so he just doesn't do anything.
He's like a recluse at that point. He's got like half of his face cut off
Oh, wow.
by like assassins, and he just like sits in his like room and studies the Force.
Huh.
So he doesn't do much,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's still around.
Okay. And then this is where I noticed a lot of the World War II things. So stormtroopers were another name that Hitler called his soldiers.
Yeah, like
We're
the
stormtroopers.
SS.
Yeah. So, and then you were saying that Hitler almost won the war in this universe. So what did you mean by that?
Oh, I was just joking because it was a race thing, like how there was only 5 black guys. It was just a joke, but I guess looking from that point,
There's an actual, because
he did almost eliminate all the Jedi, which could be like a Hitler thing. Because
Yeah,
I mean, he wanted to purge all Force users, other than himself and Vader.
and then if those are stormtroopers, which you know represent Nazis, then if you think about the battle on the beaches of Kashyyyk, where the stormtroopers are on the beaches,
D-Day.
yeah, it's totally D-Day, which makes Americans droids. We're separatist guys.
Which means your love for the Separatists is freaking...
It's totally justified
love
now.
Separatists. They are. I always root for them in the prequels. Like,
Yeah?
I like the Separatists and I like the Rebels. I hate the Empire and I hate the Republic. I like the Jedi though, but I don't know. I'm always rooting for the droids.
You always
He
like the
has-
bad guys.
He knows that the clones are going to turn on the Jedi, and so he just hates the Republic.
Oh wow.
Just hates it.
Yeah. Like, well, I mean, you could hate the army, but not necessarily the entire republic.
He also loves Newt Gunray too much to hate the Separatists.
How do you-
Favorite Star Wars character. He's my favorite Star Wars character. I was gonna ask you, who's your favorite Star Wars character? You just watched all the movies.
My favorite is Obi-Wan, hands down. No second thoughts about that. How is Newt Gunray your favorite character?
Newt Gunray is cool. He is like a shrewd negotiator. He's in charge of the Trade Federation. It's
He's a
super
coward.
powerful. He is a coward, but he's cool. I just like the guy. I think he's a cool character.
He takes every order that's given to him.
Sounds like an out-of-breath Japanese man.
Yeah, like we were wondering, like, what kind of accent were they told to use?
He told the guy to do a Thai accent,
Okay.
but no, to impersonate a Thai actor's accent, because they had like a Thai guy try out for it or something.
Uh-huh.
And I don't remember the voice actor's like something Olsen, I think. Anyway,
They're here to force a settlement.
Okay. Yeah, so because, like, as a person, you like him?
I just think he's cool. Like, and I like his like little role. He's a totally lame character. I admit it, but he's my favorite character. I just like him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now we're on topic of favorite characters. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, that's so tough. Oh, there's so many good Sith Lords. I think Anakin, just because Anakin's my favorite Jedi and Darth Vader's my favorite Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So since he's both, Anakin / Darth Vader is like my favorite. Even though he does so many terrible things,
Right.
he's just such a cool guy on no matter what side he's on. When he was on the good side, he was leading the Republic to victory, and when he was on the bad side, he slaughtered everyone.
Yeah, and he led the Empire to mostly victory.
Yeah.
They were on top.
And then
for
he killed
good 20 years.
Palpatine, which is just
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
can kill Palpatine, you're a bam.
Well, and I always wonder, like, you know, both when he's when Palpatine is electrocuting Mace Windu and when he's trying to kill Luke, and then he can't stop using the electrical force, and he ends up like hurting himself both times. I'm like, how can you not just like stop using the force with lightning bolts shooting out of your fingers?
Maybe he was trying to kill Darth Vader because Darth Vader was picking him up.
Yeah, but afterwards he throws him down the shaft, and then he's still shooting lightning bolts as he's falling down.
Didn't know that.
I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
Maybe he was trying to hit Darth Vader from far, just be like, ah! I can't reach.
But then when Mace Windu's like, shooting it right back at him with the lightsaber, and he's getting physically decrepit,
See, there's like two theories about that. One theory is that the lightning actually damages him, and then the other theory is that he looks like that the whole time, and he's using a force power to mask his presence. And then at that point, he lets himself be revealed.
That would make sense.
Because like in Star Wars, Sith Lords when they're old, they're like turned gross by the dark side.
Right.
And so I think that's how he really looks, and he's just showing himself.
And then also, like, if that's true, then he could use that as like a sympathetic, because he could to Anakin.
Yeah, because he shows up in front of the set and he's like, "Look what they did to me. I'm all disfigured now."
Yeah, if that's how he was the whole time, then he could totally have even planned that detail. And like the amount of planning that could or could not have happened is ridiculous.
It really is.
It's just insane.
Freaking intelligent dude he was.
Yeah, right. But I think that does it for the new trilogy. Unless you guys have any other notes you want to add to the new trilogy.
I don't know.
Was there something in the
Cover
third
much.
movie that was really cool?
There's a lot of stuff in the third movie that's really cool.
I love Darth Vader's no. I just have to add that. Like at the very end, he's just like, no.
Do you know if they got Mufasa to do that, or James Earl Jones?
I don't know. I don't.
Like, cause he's still alive and kicking.
Yeah,
so-
it would be cool if he was the one who did the no.
Yeah.
But you just can never be sure with all this audio effects and stuff nowadays.
Right. Yeah, because now you can get an app and record your voice. And
So
turn it into
do you
Darth
count
Vader.
James Earl Jones' voice as being like half black in the movie? So he, like, there's like a 5.5 black guys, or is there 6 black guys?
I don't think he counts because Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, he's white. So.
Dang it.
But no, in the original trilogy, 4 different actors are used to play Darth Vader. The one that's actually walking around in the suit. James Earl Jones does the voice.
And then the guy, like, when he takes off the helmet, right?
Yeah, with the white, and the scars.
He used a different guy than the guy who was just in the suit for that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then the 4th guy is just the guy that goes,
I thought it was scuba gear used for that. Scuba gear used outside of water.
but I just know it's a different guy than those 3.
Oh, did he do that? And maybe he did. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Like, it could have been scuba gear.
I
but-
just heard from someone. I haven't read it from anywhere, so it's not super credible.
Yeah,
but-
well, it could have very easily have been Scooby Gear, but it just wasn't one of those 3. It was
Yeah.
an entirely
Yeah,
4th
yeah.
different guy.
Mm.
And then if you include Hayden Christensen and the kid, there's 6 actors that play one character throughout this whole series.
Sweet.
It's so bizarre. Yeah. So that's the end of the new trilogy. If you guys have anything else you want us to talk about the new trilogy, text KAGE with whatever else you want to talk about. No one has texted in anything, guys. That's why we haven't. If someone texts in something, I'll say it. I'll say, hey, they want us to talk about this.
Text and I'll do my sexy voice.
You have a sexy voice?
I have a sexy voice.
Is that just sexy?
Call
voice?
me deep. No, I'm just kidding.
Deep voice.
Deep voice.
I'm deep voice. But yeah, so text KAGE with whatever you want us to talk about to 66746. And until then, we're going to move on to episode 4, A New Hope. This is where Star Wars all began back in 1977.
It's where Star Wars took off, but it's my least favorite episode.
It's your
If
least
you
favorite?
think about it, nothing really happens, and it's pretty boring to watch. Like,
They destroyed the Death Star.
But there's only like 2 locations in the whole movie. They're on Tatooine for like half an hour, and then they're on the Death Star for the rest of it.
As a standalone, though, like if you were like, because at the point that was just the only thing. And so as a standalone, that was brilliant. The concept of being on 2 different, planets and then
Yeah.
blowing up a giant spaceship station that could blow up an entire planet all by itself.
Well, I mean, back in '77, it's awesome. But like when we have all of them right now, I don't think it's the best one.
When I first watched, because I watched the very first one, and then I hadn't watched any others until my dad got, the other 3 trilogy.
Mhm.
Watching the very first one had so much mystery to me as a child. I liked the mystery of it. So every time I just try to watch it with a new set of mysterious eyes, and it keeps me loving it more than the second one. But it is down there.
Really?
But I still love it.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't like it. It's just that compared to all the others, I'm like, holy crap, all these are so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time I watched it, I watched episode 1 first and to episode 6, right? But I think that, if you had watched episode 4 first, then you could, learn about the Force with Luke instead of watching him learn the Force. You know, it's more of a. I think you could relate more to Luke if you're learning about it with him. But of course, and then also the first time you see Yoda in Episode 5, pick up the X-wing out of the swamp, and you're like, that's like the Force is so much more than picking up rocks or seeing your friends in pain. It's being able to move immovable objects. Mm-hmm. And so that whole concept, I wish that, I could, like, erase all memory of Star Wars and then watch 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then get all my memories back so I can actually compare which one's better. So when I show my kids, because, like, I would love to, there's, like, videos of, online where, parents show their kids, Star Wars for the first time, and then, when he says, "No, I am your father," and the kids freak out. If they watch episode 1, 2, 3, then they would have, known that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know which order I want to show my kids.
You do 4, 5, and 6. That's how I believe. That's how we actually had a friend up here who had never seen Star Wars before he got here to Snow College, and we were like, "What? You're the biggest nerd in the world. There's no way you couldn't have seen this stuff." He's like, "I haven't seen it." It's like, "We're showing them to you," and we started 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, and then he went 1, 2, 3?
Yep.
All right. And then what did he think? Of course, everyone knows the line.
He was.
I am your father.
He was kind of his reactions to stuff are a little bit let down just because he's so.
All right. He's a mellow guy.
He's a really mellow guy. He doesn't care. He's very apathetic unless he wants to argue, and then he'll just argue anything, even if he's wrong.
I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is better.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I just like following it chronologically. Like, not when it was made, but chronologically as in, like, timeline.
I like the surprise. That's why I like 4, 5, and 6, just because of that surprise.
I never got the surprise because we never had Empire Strikes Back. We didn't have the DVD. So I watched New Hope and then Return of the Jedi. And I was like,
gosh.
yeah, so I never got the big reveal that it's his father. I already knew that along. So when I finally watched Empire Strikes Back, I was like, okay, cool.
I figured, yeah. But then in the movie have you guys seen Pitch Perfect?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and they say, I don't have to watch movies to know Darth Vader is Luke's father. It's like, you just happen to guess the biggest cinematic reveal in history. And she's like, Vader is German for father. His name is literally Darth Father. He's like, oh, well, you speak German. That explains why you don't like fun things.
Well, that always bugged me because it's not Vader. It's like Vater. I mean, they sound similar, but I don't.
Yeah. It's based off the German.
Yeah.
It's based off the German. It's close enough and cool enough. Shut your trap.
Gosh.
We're just smacking on Johnny in the studio.
Face hurts.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break. It is almost 9 o'clock now, so we're going to play for you guys Paradise by Coldplay, and then we'll be right back, and we'll continue talking about episodes 4, 5, 6, etc., etc. If you guys think, you should watch it, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, text KAGE with whatever order you think to 66746. But for now, this is Paradise by Coldplay. You guys listen to 88.9 The Cage. Enjoy.
Due to copyright purposes, this song cannot be played.
You're listening to KAGJ FM from The Cage,
The Cage. The Cage.
88.9.
Hey, you guys, listen to 88.9 The Cage. You're on air with Sean Tasker. This is Fandom Life. We are now 1 hour in. We're talking about Star Wars. I got my two guests.
Johnny.
Delwyn. And we have talked all about the prequels, yeah. And so now we're going to get into the original trilogy. So we're going to start off with episode 4. We started a little bit, but we didn't get too much into detail before we had to take the break.
Yeah.
So episode 4 was the first one. You said that you kind of liked it. Since it's the biggest, or since it's the one that began everything, I think that, no one can really say it's like their least favorite. I don't know, how much did you say?
It was like my second least favorite, but it was I didn't love it any less. It was so like the only one that I have a real problem with is the second one. The fourth one is still great.
It's my least favorite to watch. It's hard for me to sit through the whole thing.
Really?
I like everything on Tatooine. Like, I love the cantina scene. That's cool. And just all the scum in there. They're awesome. But, like, just after that, it just goes downhill. It's still a good movie, but after seeing Star Wars and knowing lots about Star Wars, it's not very fun to watch for me.
Okay.
That's why
I can kind of see that. Yeah,
I have a nostalgia thing that pushes me through that movie every time. I'm just like, I love this.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's just, without this, we wouldn't have everything else. And so,
I think it was an independent movie too. Didn't George Lucas front all the money for this on his own?
well, I know that what it was he wrote, there's so many different theories. Like, I don't think anyone knows besides George Lucas. But what I heard was that he wrote the original trilogy all as one story. And they're like, it's too long, man. You cut it down to like a third of this. And so he cut it down to a third and just released that as a movie. And then it was so popular that they approved the second 2/3.
Who's they? Because I know he made the first one was so successful, he made his own studio because of it. Like he didn't. I didn't think he had any backers or anything.
He didn't.
I don't know though.
I that's what I heard. I just people always say they as some ominous anonymous.
Wouldn't it? Wait, actually, wasn't Fox part of the?
Oh, you're right. Now that I think about it,
because you think about the opening, Fox, and then it goes Lucasfilms.
That's
okay.
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe Fox is the corporate head of that.
Yeah. At least at the beginning, and then they're like, it's too long, so cut it down a little bit, and then so then after he made after that was such a huge hit, and also I remember that they were like it's gonna be good, but it's not gonna be great. And so they let him have the merchandising rights, which is why he's, freaking rich out the wazoo.
Yeah.
Because, they have
Big
food.
mistake, Fox.
Oh, my gosh. Because they have food,
action
video games,
figures,
books, action figures, clothing line.
I loved the action figures growing up. And they were like $10 a piece, but I was like, it's worth it.
I had a new gun ray.
Of course you did. Of course you did. But, and I just, with all the collections, I was watching, on that Jedi Junkies documentary I was telling you about, there are some people that are like, well, the first time that they take on the Death Star, there's 15 X-Wing, or, 30 X-Wings going in. So, well, I guess I have to go buy 30 X-Wing action figures. And so, so that they can accurately, redo that whole battle scene. I know, there are some people that will buy, or, if there's, a 2-foot wide, certain ship or whatever, they're like, huh, I really like that. I'm going to buy 6 of them.
Hey, if I had the money, I'd do it.
Yeah, but it's just some people just buy just tons of the same thing.
And the Legos, holy crap, those are expensive. But they make a lot.
Yeah, I think the Millennium Falcon is the largest Lego set ever. That they have.
I saw a Star Destroyer once, which was
yeah?
pretty cool. It was massive. It was like $150 for the freaking set.
Yeah, that's insane.
Ooh, I wanted it, but I'm not willing to drop $150 on Lego.
Right. One of the things that about Episode 4, when C-3PO and R2-D2 get into the escape pod, and then the guy's like, "Hold your fire. There's no life forms aboard."
Yeah.
If he hadn't have said that and they just shot, everything in the original trilogies would have just been done. Because I don't think a single laser cost that much. So really, what's the point in holding their fire again? Shooting a single laser at this escape pod and just blowing it up. Because then the death, they would have never landed on Tatooine, never found Obi-Wan, never, gone to save Princess Leia, and everything would have been, and the Empire would have won.
Well, it is the first movie. I mean, there's probably going to be some inconsistencies with that, just because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care too much about that.
Yeah, but if you guys have seen the Family Guy Star Wars,
I love those.
Yeah, it's hold your fire. There's no life forms aboard. Hold your fire. Are we paying by the laser now? You don't do the budget, Terry. I do. Just that's such a good point, because if they just shot that one, then everything would have just been over.
It's true.
Also, when Luke meets Obi-Wan and goes back, and Obi-Wan gives him the lightsaber, the first thing he does is he points it at his face. And he looks at it, and then he puts it away and turns it on and plays with it. But yeah, at the very beginning, the first thing he does is just that's like if someone hands you a gun, and you're like, whoa, and just stare down the barrel. Well, this is interesting. How does inside work? Yeah, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, that's twice within not that long that the whole thing could have just ended right there.
Just Luke being a huge dumb,
thought about it.
dumb person.
Because he was just a whiny kid.
Obi-Wan just freaks out.
But I could totally see Obi-Wan just being like,
Gotta find another chosen one.
oh man, where's that Leia chick? We need to go get her.
Oh, she's arrested? Well, we're screwed.
Yeah, there's nothing. No, it's all done. It's all over. Yeah. And then, so when the Death Star is going to get, they're going to blow up the planet that the Rebel base is on, and the reason that the Rebels have any chance because they have to go around that planet to get to the moon.
Yeah.
if they had just blown up the planet in front of them and then just blown up the moon.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure, like, it was a gas giant. Those are like ginormous in space. I don't know if they could just blow up that.
That's true.
Like,
I didn't know what kind of planet that was.
I mean, it'd be like a Death Star trying to blow up Jupiter when it can blow up Earth, but like,
Yeah.
can it blow up Jupiter? I don't know.
That's true. Okay, so they had to go around that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if they had just, then the asteroids from that planet would have just demolished the moon, and then that
Maybe if they would have exploded something that big next to him, maybe the shrapnel would have hit the Death Star, and that would have been a big no-no.
That's true too. Big no-no, is that what you said?
Yeah,
that's a big no-no.
That's a big no-no. Darth Vader's gonna strangle someone for that.
That's off limits now, Jimmy.
Jimmy, don't do that. I'll strangle you with the Force out of love. It's okay.
I'm only doing this because I love you.
But what he does to Padme. I'm doing this because I love you.
Oh, that hurts. No, too soon. Oh, that hurts. That hurts inside. Oh, that's not cool. And then the question that every Star Wars fan has an opinion on: who shot first?
Oh my gosh, I don't like this discussion.
On the Rebels or the Empire?
No.
Han Solo and
Greedo in the
Oh.
who shot first?
Didn't Han shoot first, but they edited Greedo to do it? To me, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Really?
I don't care
Really?
personally.
I thought Greedo just got the gun out, and then Han's gun was under the table, and Greedo was going to shoot, and then Han shot him.
Yeah.
So.
See, and the original one, what it was is Han just shot Greedo to get away, and then when they edited it, they didn't like that Han was a murderer, and so Greedo shot in the air,
like,
missed
missed,
him,
yeah.
and then out of self-defense, Han shot back. But the reason that so many people are so adamant about it is because that takes away Han Solo's
Like rogueness and
Yeah.
stuff.
Han would have been so much cooler
Bad
if he shot first, so...
that's because that's how it was. He's a total bamf. We're not allowed to say certain words on the air, so I'm gonna say
Yeah,
bamf.
that's what I said earlier.
Yeah. So making Greedo shoot first, that totally takes that away from Han Solo. So some people get so angry about it because that takes away Han Solo's awesomeness of I'm done with this, shoot, walk away.
I think he's still an awesome player.
Yeah.
I love him.
I think either way it goes, he's still cool. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that line, that just, I know, and then goes into the carbonite, is my favorite line in Star Wars ever. Like, holy crap. It's so good.
what's your favorite line?
Dude, my favorite line, I love you, I know.
Yeah, that's actually from Empire Strikes Back, which is episode 5, which is right now. That is it for episode 4. That's all I had to talk about, unless you guys have anything else to add about episode 4? No?
Nah.
Since you guys didn't really like it too much?
Nope.
Oh, okay. That's it. So episode 5 is Empire Strikes Back. That is the highest grossing Star Wars film out. Probably because of "No, I am your father." No, that whole scene.
Are you sure it's not because of Han's line? The, I know. That could have been it.
That very could
Just
have.
kidding.
Yeah, totally. That could have been it.
That was the driving force. I want to believe that.
No, but yeah, I think that. And then with the battle on Hoth, that was such a good battle, I think. And going to Dagobah and meeting Yoda. So there's just so much in the episode. So that was the highest grossing Star Wars film so far.
It is epic on scale. Like, they go all over the place. And, like, compared to other, like, sci-fi movies from the same time, it's really well done. Like, Alien was cool. Like,
I love Alien.
Didn't Emperor Strike Back come in, like, 81? Is that when it came out?
Empire Strikes Back was in 80.
80.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, but, like, RoboCop sucks. Terminator sucks. I don't, like, and all the, there's so many, like, cheesy...
Did you say Terminator sucks?
I don't like
Everyone
the first one.
loves
I think the first
Terminator.
one is horrible.
Child.
That's for a different discussion.
Oh,
though.
child. Oh, we're gonna have issues. Yeah, I'm gonna forget you just said that.
Okay.
But it's definitely one of the greatest sci-fi movies from that time.
I think so. I think it's the best one.
Alien, Predator, and then Empire Strikes Back are the 3 best sci-fi films from that era.
Emperor Strikes Back is definitely the most family-friendly out of those.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Definitely freaking
Yeah.
Predator. Oh my gosh.
I think Empire Strikes Back is cool because it introduces the bounty hunters, and everybody fell in love with the bounty hunters and, like, Boba Fett as soon as they saw them. They're on there for,
They don't
like,
even do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
everyone's
under-
just like, I love that dude.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone loves Boba Fett.
I don't like Boba Fett that much.
Maybe it's the
other
armor.
bounty hunters that they show are really cool, but they don't do anything. in the movie.
IG-88 was the droid bounty hunter. He's
He's cool.
I really like him.
He hacks the Death Star too and almost takes over the galaxy if it wouldn't have been blown up. Then
Oh.
there's like Dengar. He's like the guy with like the head wrap, and he's like Han Solo's arch nemesis
Really?
because they knew each other when they were younger and they almost like killed each other. And then
Wow.
like there's like the little insect dude. He's cool too. Like I think all of those guys are cooler than.
Yeah, the only thing Boba Fett does is he follows them as they float away with the trash. He, when in Jabba's palace, he, flirts with a chick as he walks by her. He puts his finger under her chin and then she giggles. And then he dies in the Sarlacc pit.
He actually doesn't die.
He doesn't?
No, he gets out.
He gets
Yeah.
out. He blows himself out of that place, and he becomes even more of a vamp.
There is so much
Okay.
stuff about Boba Fett. It's ridiculous.
They're actually thinking about doing Star Wars movies interchangeably. So like you're gonna have 7, and then you're gonna have one just about a character that's not like 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
And they're gonna do one about Boba Fett. They're thinking.
Okay.
And so that'll keep up with Marvel's 2 superhero movies a year. So they'll be doing 2 Star Wars movies a year to keep up with it.
That makes sense. Yeah. Huh. Which we'll definitely get into the Disney
Yeah.
Star Wars here in a minute. Episode 5. So, on Hoth, the Wampa, he strikes down Luke and then takes him back to his ice cave or whatever.
Yeah.
How does he get him stuck in the ceiling thing?
You probably don't want to know.
No, because like my friend,
No, I have no idea.
some of my friends are like, maybe like he just spits on his feet and his spit freezes really fast or something.
I was thinking maybe just pure raw strength, and you just jam.
I
his
feel
feet
like that
in
would
there.
break his legs before it would stick.
Yeah, because it is like solid ice.
Yeah. So I'm like, how does he get him to hang upside down?
I've never thought about that.
Me
Yeah.
neither. I don't question these things.
Maybe
Yes,
he
he
just
just,
maybe he had to take a whiz and it froze quick enough, just like up onto the feet.
But yeah, no, that's what I saw all these movies with people that from who loved every second of it to were indifferent about it, and everywhere in between. I watched it like every night. There was like at least 4 other people that watched it with me, and so I got to see different points of view. So that's where I'm getting all these questions that Star Wars lovers like us wouldn't think about asking. And these are almost all of these are things that they thought about. And they asked me just like, wait, so Sean, why did this happen? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah,
That's a good
I've never
question.
thought about that before. I was just like, he gets the lightsaber and he's free. He's cool.
Yeah, they were like, how did the Wampa get him stuck in the ceiling? I was like,
I'm sure there's
I've
an
never
explanation.
thought of that.
online.
yeah, probably.
There's always an explanation.
There's always someone
With some fan fiction somewhere about it.
About the Wampa.
34.
We're gonna stay out of fan fictions a little bit.
Yeah.
We probably should.
We probably should.
Cool.
So and then also, if Darth Vader had seen C-3PO at all, because Darth Vader's Anakin built C-3PO. If Vader had walked in, like when he was like trying to find Luke and them, if he had, or like when they were all in Bespin, if they had seen C-3PO.
Does Darth Vader ever run into C-3PO? I
No.
can't remember.
Nope. I just watched them in the past 3 days, and he had never sees C-3PO. Because when Han and Luke and Leia go in for dinner with Lando Calrissian, C-3PO has been demolished by the trash
Yeah,
room,
and
and
he's, like, in pieces.
Chewbacca's trying to fix him. So Darth Vader never sees C-3PO. So I'm always like, I wonder what kind of reaction he would have. Like, would he be like, sudden wave of nostalgia and then realize what he's become, and then that could like turn him to the good side.
I don't think he would have expected much because droids are supposed to get like memory wipes all the time. And
Right,
I think
right.
he would have assumed that it would have happened. Like I don't think he would have expected the same droid to be there.
And he didn't have much of a connection with 3PO. His biggest connection was with R2. And so
Really?
if he was to get any sort of
Yeah,
nostalgia feeling, I think it would be from R2.
Yeah, which he also never runs into. Yeah, but I just thought, with like, that's the thing that he built as a 9-year-old to help his enslaved mother.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know, I feel like that would have a huge nostalgia effect, of his childhood. And then R2-D2 definitely had a bigger part in his, adolescent years, but.
I don't think it would have changed him at all. He abandoned his past ways. I mean, if you see your own son that your wife gave birth to, and you're like, come to the dark side, or I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, that is pretty dark. I don't think anything else would have turned him back,
Yeah.
other than what did.
Of course, the Emperor tells Vader that she died on Mustafar before she gave birth. And so when he says he is the offspring of Anakin Skywalker. I feel like that would have a much bigger effect on him. It's like, wait, she lived long enough to have the birth and then she died? What? Like that? I think that would have blown his mind. Not just been like, yes, master, and then just been done with it.
I don't know. I mean, especially with his more emotional stance that led him to the dark side, I would think he would have flipped out. I mean,
Yeah.
the big no from the third where he crushes everything around him.
Yeah, because that's the whole reason he. Yeah. That was the final thing that I think really completely turned him, was that she died, and so he had nothing left to live for, and so he just did whatever the Emperor wanted him to at that point.
Yeah, just became a slave.
And so if he found out that the Emperor had lied to him about his love, the whole reason that he was following the Emperor in the first place, I feel like that would.
I think it would definitely make an impact.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. I mean, obviously, the originals were made, first, originally, before the prequels. So they probably didn't know that, he was going to lie. Or I don't know. I just feel like if someone were to remake the movies from 1 through 6, then they should, definitely have him, freak out over the fact that he has a son.
Well, I always thought that Lucas had them all planned out, like all of them. I thought he knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Really? Even with the prequels?
That's what I thought. I'm not sure though.
I know he's had 7, 8, and 9 on his shelf for a very long time, and then
Oh, really?
he gave them over to Disney.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I always just wonder about that, It's just things that I always thought about. Do you realize just how senile Yoda goes? Because, it's, now 20 years since he, ditched out. And so he's sitting in this swamp by himself for 20 years. I mean, 20 years out of the, 600 or 900 or whatever years that he's been alive isn't that much. But he goes completely insane.
I don't know if he's he comes off as crazy, but I think inside his head he's still the same person.
Yeah?
Because he's like the Jedi of all the Jedis. He's like the headmaster. He knows how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he would have let himself slip into senility.
Senility. Is that a word?
I don't know.
It should be a word. It's a word now.
It is.
Trademark.
Okay. TM.
Yeah.
I don't think Yoda went too senile either. I mean, he shows his true self throughout the whole thing. I think he was just having some fun because he hadn't had any human contact in 20 years. I mean, I would have a little fun with the first person that came around my area.
Yeah.
Be like, time to mess with this dude.
Especially since he didn't know who Yoda was and he had no reputation, so he didn't have anything to uphold. He just starts digging through his stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, that seems like not quite what Yoda, from the original, from the prequels.
Mhm.
That's not the Yoda that
Maybe it's because he has no superiority thing going on, because
Anymore.
everyone did know who he was, so he had to act so respectful. But he always has been a little bit of a jokester,
Right.
not way out there, but it
Well,
shows
yeah.
a lot more in the 4, 5, or in 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Well, more 5, because 6 he just croaks.
Yeah. Well, you're a Jedi now. Bye. That's pretty much it for the 6th one. Also, when I'm jumping around a lot within the movie, so I apologize.
That's fine.
But when Han is being tortured by Darth Vader, and he says he didn't ask me any questions because it was just as bait to get Luke to come.
Mhm.
But when he comes out, he doesn't have any scars or any kind of, anything on his face or body. So I'm like, what kind of torture?
I think probably mind force torture, because he can do crap with his mind.
Yeah. But he lowered him down on this a little
Oh, that's
tablet
right,
thing with
you're
all
right.
it looked like drills
I
and
forgot
stuff.
about that.
I mean, it looked like the kind of stuff that you would slowly scratch your skin off or something, some kind of really creepy dark, dark side of the force kind of thing.
Maybe that was more of a mental thing. Maybe those things
Yeah,
didn't
maybe
do
he didn't
anything.
actually shove his face into it. 'Cause I'm
Maybe-
sure there would have been some kind of.
Maybe it was a
Yeah.
super mental thing, and then Darth Vader did other things to make it even worse. I don't know. That's my best guess as to why he doesn't have scars. It's just maybe he used the face thing for more of a mental thing and didn't actually dip him all the way down.
Yeah, I love in the Family Guy, Star Wars, that he dips him down and then he starts playing some Celine Dion or something, some really obnoxious music. And he's like, no,
The
stop
stuff
it."
Johnny listens to at night.
Yeah, is that what you listen to?
I like Celine Dion.
Nice. And then I don't have any other notes for episode 5. Is there anything else you guys have to talk about for?
No, that's not
I always thought Cloud City looked really cool.
possible. Cloud City is really.
I had this
Oh my
little
gosh,
like
yeah.
toy set when I was a little kid, and it was Cloud City, and it was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And, like little spaceships, like little people on it. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm one of those nerds that likes to create my own characters within the universe. And so I have a Jedi with a whole backstory and everything, but he dies in Order 66 on Cloud City. And so like they shoot him and he falls off and then into the
That's
gaseous
really
planet.
cool.
Oh, we
Yeah.
play like a Star Wars role playing game. It's really awesome.
Yeah, we get together every couple of weeks
Really?
and play the Star Wars role playing game.
It's
It's
so
awesome.
cool. Like, and so we have to create backstories that work within the universe.
Yeah.
And I had this one guy who's been alive for like 325 years,
Oh
and
my
so he
gosh.
lived through all of the movies, and then we played afterwards, and so like
Huh.
I incorporated that in there. It was really cool.
Yeah. How did like what was his name and stuff?
He was called Rothseda Natas. He was a Sith dude who was trying to be like a super evil, awesome baddie.
Huh.
I love him. I haven't got a. He's just really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually, my character finds inspiration for being a Sith Lord from Anakin slaughtering the
Oh wow.
Sand People.
From the Sand People.
Yeah, because he lives on Tatooine,
Oh, okay.
and then he hears about this, and he's like, "Whoa, I couldn't defeat the Sand People, and this guy slaughtered all of them.
Yeah.
I want to be a dude with a lightsaber."
Yeah, my guy's name is Son Kai Ginya. He was trained by Mace Windu, and so like a lot of the things that like one of the things I really liked about Mace Windu was Samuel Jackson. He just wanted a different color lightsaber because, you know, oh, I'm Samuel Jackson, so I get a purple lightsaber, but they actually changed the character, you know, from that. Because, you know, the green, if you have a green lightsaber, you're more focused on the Force. If you have a blue lightsaber, you're more focused on, like, battling.
Yeah.
And then, you know, red is, you know, evil. And so Mace Windu is purple, so that's a mixture of blue and red. So he was, like, really battle intensive. And then whenever he fights, he actually finds joy in defeating his enemies. And so he revels in, you know, killing things.
Yeah, there's like he is like the master of this one fighting style
Mhm.
where it's just about like dismembering people.
Yeah.
And he's like I think the only Jedi that does it and
Yeah,
doesn't
there's, like-
fall to the dark side.
Yeah.
He is the only one to do it, not go to the dark
Yeah,
side.
there's 9 different Jedi fighting styles.
Yeah.
There's 7.
Or
Is
isn't there
Was it?
7?
Pretty sure.
I thought it
there's
was 7. There's
Oh,
two.
7
There's
high.
two different styles of 7, and then there's a few other styles of the others, but there's ultimately 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember like going through this when I was creating my character. Like I looked into all like the symbolism of how like the lightsaber's crafted, and so I like created my own like, you know, hilt and everything. And
Haven't we done that?
You can if you want.
yeah, I went full out when
That
I
is so cool.
yeah, because I play Dungeons and Dragons too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, right? And so I'm used to like, you know, creating characters with huge backstories and all these details and stuff because I love the role playing part of Dungeons and Dragons. The DM that I had back in high school, he was very encounter based, and so he loved the fights and stuff. And you know, I'm a theater guy, and so you know, it's not so much the fighting, but the role playing, the character development that I loved so much.
And it's
so,
fun to just think like the character you made
Yeah,
from
it really
scratch.
is. Yeah,
It's cool.
to know this backstory that you created. And like everything that you have a story behind it. You know, every like sword or knife that you have own, I create, you know, how I got that and plan everything, and I get a little obsessive, but it's what I do.
I went with that on the backstory of my guy just because he was 325 years old. You got to fill that crap up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So we kind of started on. We finished episode 5. We didn't start on episode 6. So episode 6 is Return of the Jedi.
Favorite of the originals. That one is just so cool.
Yeah?
I think it has everything to love about Star Wars in it.
Okay.
Decided 5 was my favorite while I was here. Like, they were tied until I remembered that epic line between Han and Leia.
Mm-hmm.
And now it goes 5, 6, 3.
Okay.
But I love
Because-
6.
Only because of that line.
Yeah, I just remembered that. I was like, that made that. That was so cool.
I love you. I know. Oh.
I want to be able to do that one day before I'm dipped in carbonite.
You're gonna be dipped in carbonite one day?
I'm going to attempt it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be so metal that I become metal.
Get Kevin. This guy on campus, his name is Kevin. He you might see him around. He has a huge blonde ponytail, wears these big old boots, like a black beater walking around.
I wish I could afford boots like his.
Oh,
Oh,
his boots are so sick. Like I'm not into metal or anything, but I'm like those boots though. Like I want those boots just because they're awesome. And then he has like an authentic World War II Russian jacket that he wears in the winter time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay, we've talked about metal. We should get back on Star Wars.
Yeah, back on Star Wars. We get off topic a lot. Yeah, so one of the coolest things I thought about Episode 6 was the symbolism in Luke's outfit. Because when you first see him, for the majority of the movie, he's wearing this all-black getup, and it's to resemble, how he might possibly turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
But then once Vader throws the Emperor over into the bottomless pit or whatever, and then part of the flap opens up, and it's white on the inside, showing that Luke was always...
Good on the inside.
Yeah, he was always going to stay with it, stay good.
That's a filthy lie.
It is?
He goes dark side at one point.
Yeah, Palpatine gets resurrected 3 times.
And that's the extended universe. We'll get into the extended universe where everything you think you know changes, and
That's why lots of people don't like the extended universe. And lots of people don't like the prequels because Luke was supposed to be the last Jedi, but with the expanded universe, there's actually dozens of people that survived and stuff. That's what
and then the Force Unleashed game, you learn about all the other Jedi that survived and everything.
And then you gotta kill them. Oh, I mean,
I hated
Well,
killing
except for
Shakti. I hated killing
I
her.
loved it.
That killed me a little bit.
I love playing Sith Lords in video games. I
Really?
get my inner evil out in those.
Yeah, but the guy turns good.
Yeah. See, I love playing.
I took the dark side ending. Are you kidding me? I was like,
Oh,
let's
really?
kill Vader, and I was
What?
like going for Vader, and
Yeah,
I
I
totally
definitely-
chopped Vader down.
Yeah. See, there's so many Star Wars games out there where we always play the good guy. So I was like, okay, this one I'll let my evil. I'm a good.
I could never bring myself to do that. Like in
Really?
Knights of the Old Republic, I could never strangle a little a little alien to take his 50 credits. I could never do that.
That was the one game that I actually felt bad for being bad side or the dark side is on. If you keep going on the dark side in Knights of the Old Republic for so long, at one point you reveal yourself as Revan and you're taking the title, and it's like the mission is like, no, I won't do it, and then you can tell the Wookiee to kill the Twi'lek right there.
Huh.
And I had the Wookiee kill the Twi'lek, and at that moment when I had him kill his best friend, I was just like, nope.
That's terrible.
I was like, no.
Oh, that's
I was
bad.
like, I'll never play the dark side on that game ever again, and I chose ever since. I was
Oh
just like,
my
I can't
gosh.
do it anymore.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. Yeah. So I don't know. What else did you guys like about Episode 6?
I like the Battle of Endor. I love the epic space battle. When I was a little kid, I just loved watching those fighters just tear things to shreds and stuff. I just thought that was really cool.
Oh wait, no, it wasn't. Never mind. Why is Luke's lightsaber green? Why did he make it green this time?
Because he's like a Jedi Master now.
Well, he's not a master. He's a Jedi Knight now.
Oh, okay, whatever.
You're not a master until you're on the council.
Well, he declares himself a master later.
Oh, does it? In the
Yeah,
extended...
because there's no one to appoint him, so he has to.
Right,
It's
that
like
makes
And then he
sense.
starts his own academy and all that.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And I think because that's when he starts. He focuses more on the light side of the Force. Because in the 6th one, if you watch, when he's fighting Darth Vader, his fighting technique fails. I think. It's all emotional. He starts, almost chopping him like it's, a sword instead of a lightsaber. There's no elegance, and he's just
I chop your bloody hand off.
Yeah, it's it's just a flesh wound. It's just I'll bite your legs off.
Oh my gosh, Monty Python.
But no, and yeah. So I think since he focused more on the light side of the Force, more than learning how to be a Jedi, I think that's why his lightsaber was turned green. If it matches the whole green is Force, blue is fighting.
I did like his black getup though.
Yeah. Yeah, but within so when you said that it's a lie, you were talking about the extended universe, not how
Oh yeah.
the costume symbolism.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about the costume symbol. He turns dark side later, so that's the only thing.
That's depressing. Don't tell me that. I don't want
He
to know
goes
that.
back to the light after.
Okay.
He does it to
Like-
try to get at Palpatine, but then he succumbs to the forces a little bit, becomes dark side, but then later he gets woken up by something, kills Palpatine once and for all, and
That's
becomes
nice.
light side.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's I didn't for some reason when I was watching 6, I was slightly distracted and so I didn't take notes on it. So, I don't remember everything that happened, but yeah. Did you guys know that they never actually say the name Ewoks in the episode 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it is? Yeah, cuz so the fans decided, well, what are we gonna call him? So they took Wookiee and just swapped it.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it was that.
Wookiee and Ewok,
I don't know why everyone loves the Ewoks. Yeah, they're
because
like,
they're teddy bears.
cute.
I actually hate the Ewoks.
They're pretty
Why do you
ugly,
hate the
though.
Ewoks?
They're just so
Primitive.
yeah. I don't like them. They're small and little weird creatures. I mean, this doesn't look too enticing to me. Like I probably wouldn't watch that just because it's about Ewoks. But I'm kind of intrigued because I'd want to know what they would do with Ewoks for a whole whatever that is.
Oh yeah, the movie there that I brought. That I
Yeah,
haven't
this
seen.
Star Wars Ewok Adventures.
Yeah. Man, but one thing that they pointed out in the Family Guy Star Wars was like, wait, so you guys are using like stones and spears, yet you understand the finer points of cosmetology? Because Princess Leia comes out and her hair's all braided and she looks all gorgeous. I'm like, how do you understand like what makes humans pretty? Like you've never seen hair; it's only fur. So the fact that they make her all dolled up like that, I'm like, how, just how?
I love the Star Wars spoof of the sixth one. That one's my favorite, just because like he snaps Darth Vader's neck. He's like, "Ah, yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay." And,
Yeah, he tries to get the helmet off and
and he just kills.
I could have lived, man. I could have lived.
What's wrong with you? I love it. That part.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I love the Family Guys. If you guys enjoy Family Guy and you love Star Wars, then this is like amazing. They have all three of them on Netflix.
I love the Robot Chicken spoofs of Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Those
Which
are-
Family Guy took a lot from the Robot Chicken, but I think they made it their own. Like there's some parts like when Han and Luke are dressed up as stormtroopers, pretending to take Chewbacca as a prisoner or whatever, and then he accidentally shoots the guy. And is like, what happened? He's like, everything's fine. We're all fine here now. How are you? I've been better. Well, what's going on? Well, me and my girlfriend are not doing so hot. Like, it just totally gets that show. Family Guy's the best. But yeah. So that's the entire Star Wars, the original Star Wars, the movies as we know it so far. But we found out recently, but like almost a year ago, I think, now, that Disney bought Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that was like a year or two. Maybe it might have been 2.
You think it was 2 years?
It's been a
I
long
think it
time
was
since
just a
Disney
year.
bought
think
it.
was just-
I think it's closer to a year.
Is it really just?
If
a year?
it's been 2 years, like that would be my junior year in high school. I don't think.
No, it's not. It's,
Yeah.
it's like a
Okay.
year.
Yeah, it's been about a year now. But yeah, so what are you guys excited? Are you guys worried? What do you think about the Disney?
I was worried until I heard who was directing it, and then I was like, J.J. Abrams did a boss awesomeness with Star Trek. So I think
he did Star Trek. He also did Super 8, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was doing such a good job with like these sci-fi movies. I was like, go for it, save Star Wars.
I don't care who does it as long as it stays true to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like I don't care if it's. Well, actually, I would care if it's M. Night Shyamalan. I hope he doesn't touch Star Wars. But
I wouldn't want Michael Bay touching Star Wars either.
Oh my
is
gosh.
that the Transformers guy?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Transformers guy. Just explosions and everything.
Everything's exploding.
It's not gonna follow extended universe though. They said
not?
No.
Yeah, I heard that it's not. I don't know. The news on that keeps changing all the time.
Yeah. Well, I know that Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill are going to be part of it, which means that it's definitely after Episode 6.
Yeah.
Probably a good 20, 40 years maybe, because they're all old now.
Yeah.
And like rumors that I heard, because there was an open casting call for Episode 7, which I put in like a video, audition thing. I'm not good enough to get any kind of reply after the millions that they probably got. But from what I could tell of the like 1.5 page script that they want you to read in front of a camera, it almost seemed like a Han and Leia's son kind of thing.
Ooh, if they better follow the extended universe if they do
Yeah,
something
because a
with
ton
that.
of the extended universe is about Luke's kids and Han and Leia's kids.
Yeah, like it's so revolved around them. If they didn't follow the extended universe with that,
There'd be so many people that'd be so angry.
I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Right.
And at first I was worried because, I was like, they're going to make Zac Efron, into the Star, or something really dumb. Which I'm a Efron fan, don't get me wrong, but not in Star Wars. And then I realized that before they bought Star Wars, they bought, Marvel and the Avengers and everything, and they made the Avengers back on top of the game,
People always forget about like the Marvel that they bought, and then also Pirates of the Caribbean. Like those are Disney films, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
fantastic in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, but yeah. So when they were able to take, because DC was winning with Dark Knight and everything, they were winning that fight of Marvel versus DC, which I had a show a couple weeks ago, which was Marvel versus DC. Somehow DC won. I still don't understand how I let DC win.
DC has better villains.
I'm a Marvel guy personally.
Marvel has better superheroes, but DC has better villains.
Comics.
He hates superheroes.
I'm not a superhero person.
Really?
No
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, I read comics as a kid, but yeah. So once I realized that they were able to throw Marvel back on top of the game, then I was like, okay, I'm okay with them taking Star Wars in that case.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do good.
And they have enough money where they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, honestly, they can.
All I
There should
know
be no
is
budget issues at all.
They better follow the extended universe if they do anything with the kid of Han and Leia. That's all I know now. Is they better not screw up this timeline.
Yeah, if they mess up the extended universe, because that's like not fan fiction. That's like set stuff.
It's canon, so you can't.
Yeah, you gotta
Just
follow
be
canon.
like,
I heard they were gonna do something like they did with Star Trek and make like an alternate timeline dimension.
If they do
thing.
that, I'll be really mad.
But I don't know. I think
That'd
that's
be
just a rumor,
obnoxious.
too.
Like how they had Spock and old Spock.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that'd be obnoxious if they did that. Because they don't do time travel in Star Wars.
Yeah, I am looking forward to the Star Wars Rebellion. It's the new Disney cartoon. It's like the same style as the Clone Wars going on, but
okay.
It's after that. It's between 3 and 4.
oh,
Really?
I think they should have
You guys
killed.
haven't heard about that?
No. Because,
I think it comes out this year or next year.
I haven't heard about it.
That brings me up to a point that I want to say that Ahsoka should have been killed off in the Clone Wars.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
They should have killed her off at the very end. Like I don't like the whole we shouldn't kill the Jedi, but no, she should have died. Just like I think where the third one where there's no apprentice and she could have either left or been killed, I think they should have killed her.
Yeah. I can see an argument for it.
I don't know. I just think it would have been so much more dramatic and so much better.
Yeah.
Like if Grievous had just
Yeah.
and then taken her lightsaber.
That definitely would have helped Anakin go down the dark side with that anger. Because, like, he, when he first, after, like, 10 minutes of meeting her, like, in the movie, which you haven't seen, but in the movie, like, within 10 minutes of meeting her, he, at first he's super angry that he has a Padawan because he hates, kids. But then he loves, Ahsoka because, she's snippy and sassy and, whatever he gives her. Yeah. Whatever, yeah, because that's the first thing he calls her as a nickname. Because she's like, "What's up, Sky Guy?" And he's like, we're gonna have a talk. This is not okay. But yeah, he really soon learned to really like Ahsoka Tano, and so if she got, then I think that would have helped him go down the dark side.
Yep.
And then in the Force Unleashed, he takes on another apprentice, which is the Star Killer or whatever. I don't know his actual name. I just know.
I think they call him Star Killer, and I think
They do call him Star Killer.
when Lucas had like the first draft for A New Hope, I think he was gonna call Skywalker Star Killer.
Really?
I think that was gonna do it. I always thought that was kind of. I always thought that would kind of suck. I mean, if it was Luke Star Killer.
Yeah, especially with the Death Star and then Star Killer. Like I think the similarities in those names are a little too obnoxious at that point.
I've never thing that I hate is I played the PlayStation 2, and so I got Force Unleashed for the PlayStation 2, and apparently it was vastly different than every other Force Unleashed everyone else has ever
Really?
played.
Yeah, see, I had PlayStation 2 as well.
Yeah, and so do you know that Gungan bounty hunter that you have to fight later?
I think
it's
so.
like really bad A, and you're like, whoa, a Gungan can be a bounty hunter?
Yeah,
that
I
wasn't
saw
in the other ones.
Really?
Yeah, it was only in the PlayStation 2, and also in the other ones you have to physically stop the Star Destroyer from hitting the planet. Do you remember the cutscene for that? You get to do that in the other games, and it is one of the hardest parts for other people, but you're not allowed to do it in the PlayStation 2. They're just crash it, and he stops it.
Really?
I don't like the Force Unleashed because of how it changed Star Wars canon. So Darth Vader essentially creates the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I think
I thought it
it
was
kind of
really
ruins
cool.
it for me because I really like the Rebels. I have one of those.
Well, he wasn't trying to create them to go against the Empire. He wanted to kill them, but then Starkiller ended up not wanting.
Yeah, he ended
Yeah.
up killing himself so he could save them, but I mean that wasn't the plan.
Yeah, and Princess Leia is the one that discovered the emblem for the whole rebellion.
I
to
thought
go
it was
under.
way cool because Darth Vader was trying to just get them together to slaughter them. He wasn't trying to mass them up.
The only thing I didn't like about Force Unleashed was that there were so many cutscenes. It was almost like a half and half almost.
I think that's fine. I'm fine with watching.
It was.
I
like,
liked Force Unleashed
They
a
were
lot.
they were definitely going for the cinematic thing, which was good. But I think that there's like that's the number one problem that people have with Force Unleashed is that there's too many cutscenes. There's too much where you're just sitting and watching, and especially like that part where they all gather in the temple, and then Darth Vader comes in and kills them. Or I don't exactly remember what happens because it's been a couple years since I played it. But yeah,
I think I'm fine with it. I like the cutscenes.
You
They
do?
were cool.
okay. I liked how they let you find the holocrons, which had more information, and then I'm not sure how I feel about them adding more lightsaber colors. Because you can also get yellow and orange.
That's been around for a while. That's before.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
like nobody knows about black or white lightsabers, but there's black and white lightsabers.
Really?
Well, I think that was the first time they put them in a video game. But like in Knights of the Old Republic, you can have like an orange or a yellow lightsaber. Like Bastila has a yellow lightsaber. Did you ever play Knights of the Old Republic?
No, I didn't.
No. It's a gem of Star Wars gaming. That is like
It
the
is.
Star Wars
It is
game.
the game.
It's getting
guys.
it's 2004, so it's like old.
Yeah,
now,
yeah, it's getting pretty
but
retro.
It's a
I
classic.
can still play through.
like
it, no
any Star
problem.
Wars
Oh.
fan.
Do you have it on
needs to play
PC?
that.
He has it on PC, but before I moved down here,
Uh-huh.
my brother bought an Xbox because we had this old gaming shop that
Uh-huh.
was near us, and you could buy an Xbox for $25.
Oh my gosh.
Just not an Xbox 360, just one of the original
Yeah,
Xboxes.
yeah.
You just go in, get an Xbox, and he got Knights of the Old Republic, and we hooked it up, and we played, and we were like,
Nice.
I didn't get to play 2 though, just because my friend had it, and he was lending it to us, but it was so scratched it didn't work,
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I was sad.
Yeah.
I still want to play the second one.
I don't know if you want to take a break from it, I would be more than happy to borrow it from you. That seems backwards. Usually you're supposed to. If you ever stop playing it, may I please borrow it from you
Well,
temporarily?
it's just on PC. I can hook you up with it if you really want it.
I just want to try it because I haven't played it.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's basically like 4,000 years before the movies.
Okay.
There's just Sith versus Jedi in a giant galactic war.
Oh yeah, there's so many Sith. There's like as many Sith as there are Jedi.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
cool.
cool.
Everyone's just running around slaughtering each other. And
Huh.
this big battle. It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. Like I read Darth Bane. I was telling you guys the only extended universe book I've read was Darth Bane, and that explained, that's the one that changed it from having just as many Sith as were
To the
Jedi
rule of two.
to the rule of two, and like why that's a thing, and because for those of you that don't know, the universe is empty, right? And it's just darkness. And then every Jedi creates light. And so then if there's more light, then that means that there's less darkness. So each Sith takes, a portion of the darkness, of the dark energy force that's remaining. Which means that the more Sith they are, the less of
Powerful they are.
yeah, the less of that section that they get. And so Darth Bane, committed, double genocide on a whole bunch of Jedi, a whole bunch of Sith, so that there was just him, so that he got all of the remaining dark side of the Force that there was, and then he said that there should only be a rule of two, which was a master and apprentice, so that they could always replace them. Of course, every apprentice has another apprentice, because they want to take over the current master.
Yeah.
And so when there's only supposed to be two, there's almost always three going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the whole reason why there's now, usually 2 and or 3 Sith at a time, which I really enjoyed reading that. It gave, a whole bunch of stories on like the people that aren't Jedi, because like the character originally, he's not Jedi, has nothing to do, he's just like a mine worker. And so it has a whole lot about the universe outside of the Jedi versus Sith. So I really liked it. Have you guys have read some extended edition, right?
Yeah. I haven't read-
Wikipedia counts as
Yeah.
that, right?
Wikipedia accounts, definitely.
Yeah.
My favorite one that I've read so far is I really like Darth Plagueis. It fills in a lot about Palpatine.
Okay.
Like, because we know him in the movies, and he's just kind of there.
Right.
But, like, this talks about, like, how he got to where he was at, and, like, how he is an evil punk.
An evil punk.
I don't know what else to say.
You rotten.
Anyway, I thought that was a good one. And
Yeah.
then, I don't know. There's all these cool, like, it's called Essential Guides, and there's, like, Essential Guides to Weapons, Essential Guides to Vehicles, and that's, like,
Yeah.
a page on, like, every gun, and, like, every ship, and, like, every
wow.
thing. It's cool to read if you're, like, a Star Wars. It's
Yeah.
like, technical and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah. There was a game that was gonna come out called Star Wars 1313, and that it was like a Skyrim version of Star Wars, and you're like a bounty hunter, and so like it didn't have the Jedi and Sith. It was just you in this galaxy, and you could do however you wanted to live your life if you were a bounty hunter in this galaxy. And I really liked. I was so excited for that. But then when they sold it over to Disney,
I was upset when they shut down LucasArts.
and all that got scrapped.
Huh.
Yeah. So I was very disappointed in
That's
that.
sad. I mean, I love lightsabers, and I prefer the choice, but like that still sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I'd
right?
Pass it up.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like gritty and violent, and you're like in the underside of Coruscant, and it's just everyone is scummy and villainy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad.
I think it was gonna be
Yeah.
like the only M Star Wars game. Like they were planning.
That
on
would make
making-
sense. Oh, because it's very similar to Skyrim, which is M.
Yeah, well,
Like-
that's a over the shoulder shooter. I don't know if it was
I
gonna
think
be
if
an
Disney-
RPG.
Oh, okay.
If Disney wanted any extra profit, they should have kept that stuff going.
But yeah. So and then another like gaming mix that I'm excited. This one's not necessarily Star Wars, but we're wrapping up here, and just another gaming mix that I'm excited for. They're making a Lord of the Rings, but Assassin's Creed.
What?
So, yeah. So the gameplay is just like Assassin's Creed, but it's in the Lord of the Rings universe.
I haven't heard about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And like you can like go into like the Wraith vision, and so you can like see like spirits and stuff. And I don't know, like I'm not super.
Oh, I think I've heard about that. And you're like a half Nazgul, half like a ranger kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's between Hobbit and Fellowship, is where the game is set, and so I'm really excited for that.
I'll have to look into that. That sounds awesome.
But I think that's all we have to talk about Star Wars. Do you guys have anything else you want to add about Star Wars?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, then we're going to wrap up about 10 minutes early. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Do you guys have any social media you guys want people to follow you on?
Nah.
No? No,
I don't care.
No Tumblr, no Twitter, no Pinterest. I don't know.
I created the Twitter just for ironic purposes, and I just post a bunch of crap about metal and then hashtag big long things. So if someone wants to see a bunch of people talking about metal, they can do that, but otherwise I don't care.
Well, I mean, go ahead. What is it? What's your username?
Delwyn Juice Isaac.
Spell that for him, because I had trouble finding it.
DELWYNJUICEIZAT.
There we go. Nice and long. You guys can follow me on Twitter. That's at Sean_Tasker. SEAN, not any other those lame ways to spell Sean. At Sean_Tasker, and then that will give you links to all my other stuff. But yeah, I think that just about does it for this episode of Fandom Life. Once again, I'm your host, Sean Tasker. My guests are
Johnny.
Delwyn.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. It has been a blast. So yeah, definitely, man, it was great. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play some music for you guys. Next up, we got The Adventures of Rain Dance Maggie by Red Hot Chili Peppers, then some Lord, Honor by August, etc., etc. This has been Fandom Life here on 88.9 The Cage. Enjoy.
Due to copyright purposes, this song cannot be played.